and Goldman Sachs and JP Morgan hit it out of the park in almost every.
Hey Eric, how are you? Welcome to this little Q&A. Hey Michelle, nice to see you. Welcome to this question and answer session with the Pattern Trader. My name is Mark Shawzin, the Pattern Trader. Let me know what you're trading, what you're interested in trading, and we can kind of take a look at it together. Wakamello, so hey Isabel, thank you for asking. I'm fair. Couple of stocks that have been on my radar for the last long time. Lyft, LYFT. I started putting out buy recommendations on that yesterday in the 62 handle. It's now 64. I've been looking at the stock WRK. It's a real sleeper. It's just been consolidating at the top here. And frankly, the more it consolidates at this $52, $53 area, I think eventually it's going to blow through. And then another stock that, I traded a while ago and took off my radar, and then I saw it put a nice pattern, is KTOS. Hey Swim, how you doing? Ticker symbol KTOS, and I like the way that's kind of behaving today. I'm probably going to buy that into the close, KTOS. I actually bought some Tesla into the dip here. We had a huge breakout yesterday, and then, it opened higher and then went a lot lower. And frankly, I think, you can buy the dip in Tesla. So I actually bought right here under $750. It's trading about $752, and I kind of feel good about that. So Eric says buying Tesla pullback at 740. I don't know if it'll get to 740. If it gets to 740, Eric, I probably won't like it there. So we closed, I don't know where we closed, but we opened, much higher today. It's like 779. And then we can, started drifting down from the opening, and it went from about 780 down to about 740. And I think that that's a pullback that you can buy the dip in that. So I actually, started buying around just under $750 right here. Great to see you too, Swim. So stocks are huge mixed bag every day. I think yesterday the NASDAQ was up, the Dow was down. Today the Dow's up, the NASDAQ's down. So instead of the indexes cratering, what you're doing every day is you're seeing a giant rotation. One day it's value, the next day it's momentum, next day it's growth, and then they switch again. And so you can really, you have to hone in and really understand. You can't just rely on the markets, a rising tide raising all ships anymore. You got to buy the right stock. So I think Lyft is just, to my mind, it's just a winner. It's trading at 64. You're probably going to see it in the 70 handle and the 80 handle, in the weeks to come. Isabel, yeah, I mean, Pound New Zealand to me cratered a lot more than I thought it would. Yeah, it just cratered today. So now it's, yeah, it's just been a very, very tough pair to play one way or the other. I still think that, that bottom at 185 will hold, but it's really crummy price action. Eric wants to know about the pullback in the SOXL. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of holding to a bullish uptrend line, but you've got a lot of volatility in here. And typically when we see volatility, to me, that indicates uncertainty. So I don't know if I would play that right now. I don't know if this is updating, because this looked a lot like the same chart I looked at a couple of weeks ago. So yeah, I'm not sure if I'm getting the right print on this thing. Yeah, I'm not sure if I'm getting the right print. Swim says, what are your thoughts about S&P? The path of least resistance is higher. I mean, I don't know how much higher we can keep going. We're bumping up against this, I was going to say 4,200 to 44. We're at like 41. And today, we've got this little narrow range bar right at the top. But, yeah, I think that these indexes are just, I'm not trading the indexes right now. I'm looking at individual stocks. I think it's very difficult to trade the indexes. Yeah, just because it's at a high, doesn't, it could stall out here, but I don't think that's going to translate into enough of a move. I can't really see a pattern that's going to throw this backwards. So you may have, I don't know. I mean, you could have something from nowhere come out of. Yeah, for me, it's the path of least resistance is higher. What do you say about the S&P? It's going higher. Looks like it's higher. I wouldn't short it. Same with the QQQs. Yeah, they're at a resistance high, but it doesn't mean that they're gonna. Whenever I see something that I want to short, I want to see a pattern that then creates that movement lower. So yeah, we could have a sharp thing, but then the next day is going to be right back. So those are not really dependable. I want to see a pattern, that I can, see that will translate to a bigger move. So, the QQQs, trading this 340 area, it's a huge resistance zone. So I think at best you're just going to have, this back and forth. So, instead what I'm trying to do is find, things that, are going to move within the indexes. I've been very bearish on Zoom. Zoom had this kind of huge short covering rally yesterday. And, now we're right back down. So, I look at kind of individual opportunities. Yeah, so Tesla's kind of making a nice move out of this, basing area, just trading over 754 now. So Dre says, what are your three main FX pairs that you're looking at now? So yeah, FX has been tough. I mean, I've got dollar yen on my radar. Dollar yen has been in a long-term downtrend. It's in this funky zone right now where I'm not sure if it's going to keep going lower or break higher. So dollar yen is peripherally on my radar. Euro yen is on my radar. I mean, I really like euro yen higher. Euro yen has really been sticking to this very sharp uptrend line, and it shows no sign of pulling back. So, I've got a long dollar yen. I've got a buy stop over last week's high at about 130.87 to buy more. And I think right now euro yen looks like the strongest candidate. I think you're going to get another push higher. Shuhani says, you want to check gold? I'll check gold. So gold, has this double bottom price pattern, but I think it's very misleading. I think gold still looks like it wants to go lower. Silver is actually looking a little bit, it's perking up a little bit, but again, these metals are tough. So everything right now is in these, huge ranges. And, I'm not seeing anything that I'm that crazy about. I like dollar Canadian short, USD Canadian, dollar Canadian short. So I think euro yen long and dollar Canadian short probably, the uppermost. And let me just check out. Yeah. So I think those two. It's kind of tough trading right now. The markets are in this kind of back and forth, rotation cycle. Eric says, what are your thoughts on Mara? It looks like it's kind of topping out here also. It's still got this uptrend line, but, it's also got this double top up there. So, and it broke the recent lows today. So, So I don't really look at the the non liquid pairs. Um, so I don't really have that on my radar. Doosan wants to know about dollar Canadian. I mean, so sorry, Australian Canadian. Yeah, that's yeah, that may be ready to go back up. You've kind of got an inverted head and shoulders price pattern. You pulled back to this, uptrend line. Looks like you stopped there. Yeah, it probably looks like it's grabbed a foothold here. Um, doesn't mean it's going to go straight up. I expect all of these things just to be, kind of messy in here. But yeah, it does feel like it's put in a foothold there. New Zealand dollar, Canadian. So the Canadian dollar is very strong. I'm sorry, very well. It's weak against these pairs. Australian dollar, Australian versus U.S. dollars, gone back into the range. So I've said on balance, I think the dollar is going to go lower over time, and that Australian versus U.S. dollar will probably be doing, will do well. I just think it's in this giant trading zone, but you may have seen the low end of Australian versus U.S. dollar here. What is pound Australian, Dre? Is that what you were talking about? Yeah, that still looks like it's in a downtrend. So Shuhani says, I see a funky head and shoulders on the gold weekly. I don't know what you're looking at. So I was looking at this ascending, broadening price pattern. It came to the lower end. It kind of grabbed a foothold. It's got these two double bottoms. And we may have bottomed, but I just think the way this thing came down, it's not going to go straight up. So I don't know how to share my screen. I need to inquire about that. We talk about this every day. Let me see if I do that. Nope, that didn't work. I don't think I can share my screen on this software. What about the Japanese index? Cyprian, let me take a look at that. That's trading on the high of... Wow, this thing has just been a monster uptrend. Yeah, I think the the non-U.S. Indexes like South Korea and Japan, are going to perhaps at some point start outperforming. So that looks pretty solid, probably consistent with the weakening yen. Streamline. Thanks, Dylan. So can I integrate that? So I'm not sure how if I even upload that software. So I'll check it out. But thanks for that, Dylan. I'll definitely check that out after this. So Eric says, what would be a good entry point for lift anywhere? This is just going to go higher. This is going to go higher, and it's going to keep going higher. This is a great stock. I bought this at the $45 area, and then it got into this consolidation zone, and then yesterday did a giant key reversal, made a new low, closed sharply the other side, and just opened higher today. So if you've got patience, I would just buy this thing and hold it. So Tesla's making a little move, almost back to unchanged now, 758. So we went to 780 all the way down to 740, and I used that as a... So I was talking a lot about that on my webinar series this week, where once you understand the pattern that's underneath something, then it kind of tells you what, how to look at this thing. So even though Tesla went to 780 and dropped like a stone, to my mind, it's got such a solid under support that I just bought into that dip. under 750, and now we're trading at 758. MR says, what about euro US dollar? Where's this thing? So I think dollar's going down long term, which means all of these pairs against the dollar are going to go higher. Which one is better than the other? It's kind of a pick 'em. So I think euro, had a resistance. I told our members to short around 119, looking for about 116. It got a hair under 117. I told our members to just cover there because it was right in the support zone, and then it turned around right from there. So I don't know if it goes straight up from here, but I think the dollar's going to be weaker over time. Period. So yeah, I don't know if it goes straight up, but it certainly looks like it's turned around. The euros looks like it's putting on an inverted head and shoulders, and you're trading right at the neckline here. So you probably get maybe some breakout of here and then a pullback, and then I would buy that pullback. I think you can afford to be patient, but just, these patterns tell you which side you need to be faced on. So I would be, by and large, short the dollar. There was a nice move. The euro dropped from 120 down to 117. I took a piece out of that, but that to me is the counter trend move. The trend move is long euro versus US dollar. Wakamal says, what about dollar Swiss franc? Let me just check that out real quick. Yeah, that looks like it's probably going to form an inverted head and shoulders here too. It's a more difficult pair to trade. Kind of see how it consolidates here, but I would get long Australian versus US dollar. That would be my first choice, and then perhaps the euro. Eric wants an NCLH. I think we looked at that yesterday. Norwegian Cruise Lines. Let me check this out. I mean, you've got a pretty good pop you got it from 7 to 35. Puts us like halfway between where it was pre-pandemic. You probably get, another push out of this thing. I mean, it's probably put in its lows and will find a way to go higher. It's a tough thing. I imagine it's going to be, sideways for a while. Tough to see what this thing's going to do in here. It's got support right here, resistance at 35. So I imagine it, plays around here for a while. I don't know what that means, Zuluf. Thanks for your Ed Forta. I don't know what that means. Gold says a nice double bottom here. Are you buying? Well, I had so when I see a pattern, I sent out an email to our members last night to put a buy stop at 751. And so what I do is I see something, but then I require the market to confirm what I see. And the market didn't get there. So, I wasn't triggered. And I don't know how much in love with gold I am right here. It may just need to hang out more. It may just need to consolidate more. So, the order wasn't triggered. And now you're trading at 1737. And I don't know. This looks like a double bottom, but I'm not sure you'll see a sustained move out of here. I'm kind of very skeptical about gold. Michelle says, I know it's not your style. Would you invest in an IPO stock? Talking about coin. Has Coinbase come out with have they announced yet? I've been busy this morning. I haven't seen. So it's not a question of that. The problem is, Michelle, all of the insiders have really gotten in at a good price, and then it's going to open at 100% premium. And now you got to say, is there going to be enough? So MR says, are you listening to Powell's speech? No, I'm talking to you guys. I try not to listen to that stuff. I look and see how Coinbase going, it's waiting. So I just see on the thing that Coinbase has not printed. So Michelle, the thing is, by the time it prints, it's probably going to be up, huge from the IPO price. All the insiders are going to, be in at a huge thing. So, I mean, look, it's a momentum thing. Who knows? Probably will get a pop out of this thing, and then, they'll have to settle back and we'll have, 6 months of history and then we can look at it. If you look at all of the IPOs, DoorDash, Snowflake, a whole bunch of them, they came out, they went much higher, and then they crashed. So, there was a pop on the upside, and then, there was a pop on the downside. So Myron says, I've traded for years. Your analysis and input is spot on. Thank you. So Myron, thank you for that endorsement. So, the problem with IPOs is now we have no history. It's just a feeling. It's, it's just a momentum. It's a FOMO. It's, kind of, getting in on a ride and hoping that ride will take you to the beach. So, it's not that I don't not trade IPOs or not. I trade in and out of recent IPO stocks. I've been shorting Snowflake for the last 3-4 months. It may have put in a little bottom here. We'll see. So yeah, I trade everything. But in order to trade anything, you need some history. And then the problem with Bitcoin when it came out, the history was so weird, where it just came out from 40 cents and went to 20 grand, and then from 20 grand down to 4 grand. So, some things have just a less predictable history. But the more time that goes by, then we can start seeing patterns in price action emerge. Then we can make rational buy sell decisions based on setups in the market. Cyprian says, what do you think about Snap? My son asked me about that a while ago. He made a whole bunch of money on it. It's kind of in a no man's land here. It's just got a huge channel between 50 and 73. It's kind of in the middle, the top end of the resistance. It's hard to say one way or another. So some stocks are just, look, I think the history is such. I'm looking at the weekly, the momentum is such that you'll probably see another push somewhere close to the all-time highs again. So it looks like the momentum now is going to, still carry it higher. Airbnb. Yeah, this one's funky too. Again, not a lot of history. The history we have, you have this triple top up, at the bottom, but then there's also there's a couple of key reversals here on the bottom that tell me that it's going to have a lot of trouble breaking through to the downside. So we may just get into a coil here, and then you may just, I don't know what to make out of this thing, one way or another. It's neither here nor there. I can see, so it's just kind of been funneling down into this narrow end of this kind of symmetrical triangle. And, you may get a break one way or another, and you may be able to trade that. But from what I see, there's not a whole lot to trade here. Cyprian says, I appreciate all the work you do and spend and your time for it. So no worries, Cyprian. I really enjoy it. This is what I do all day. I kind of look at charts, see what's going on, see where the next opportunity is. And, so talking to you guys bring me your opportunities. We can have a discussion. And I don't really, having said that, I don't really advocate that you search around, and talk to people and look for advice, and even from me. I think that's part of the reticence I had from getting into this business in the first place. This is, very much, a solo sport that you have to have the courage of your convictions. And, everything is, should be based on very empirical information. And the more information you seek, from the outside, what's Powell saying, what's going on the chat boards, on and on. You know, what I try and do is educate our members to get to a place where they can evaluate something. And I think then you just have to, have the confidence. And at the end of the day, you don't have to be right on every bet. What I'm really looking for are setups that are going to translate to, big moves. I've been shorting gold for the last 2 months. I was telling our members back in early January, when gold was around $1,900, that I was looking for gold to go down to $1,700. And so I took about $200 out of that gold move. And that's really what I'm looking for in my trades. Now you're getting these rotations, the market's in certain cycles. You don't get these, broad moves, but they will come. And so I'm always looking for that. And so I'm not looking for anybody to confirm that. I'm not looking for Powell. I'm not going into an internet thing. I'm searching for patterns that I know will translate, into a monster move, like Lyft. When I saw Lyft, 2 months ago, I just gotten out of surgery, 2 days out of surgery. I was bored in my hotel room. And, that was something that was been on my radar since the beginning of the year. I saw this huge double bottom. So once I see a pattern emerge in anything, I don't care if it's in orange juice futures, in gold, in the euro yen, once I feel like I can identify a pattern, then that pattern is going to tell me what the trajectory is going to be. Now, it's not going to tell me what the trajectory is going to be every minute or every day. So, in the case of, like, let's say WRK, I see this huge, underbelly, this double bottom, inverted head and shoulders. And I think on balance, that will send that stock higher. Now, in the last, 5-6 weeks, it's just been consolidating between 50 and 54. But frankly, the more it bangs up, against this range, when it breaks out, I feel like I'll know which way it's going to go. So I'm not looking for anybody to confirm that. I think, I try and find what resonates for me, the way I look at the markets, the way I analyze the markets. Then I try and put together some kind of risk reward, thing. Say, if I, bet on WRK at 52, and I put my stop loss at 48, and make that equate to some level of risk in my account, then that's what I do. And I don't really look for any outside confirmation. So you got to be careful. I mean, it's really nice to hang out in these groups and have these discussions. And I enjoy meeting new people. But, if you guys say something to me, I'm going to be able to look at it and view it through the prism of what makes sense to me. I'm not going to be affected because you say, hey, euro, US dollars, a short here. I'll go and I'll take a look at it and, I'll either agree or not agree based on, but I have, inside of me, certain characteristics that I know I'm looking for. Now, I can tell you there's been a ton of times where I've been in something and then I see something on Yahoo, I see something there. I don't want to see it, but now you can't unsee it. It's entered your brain. Somebody says something and now it's kind of contrary to what you're looking at, or it's confirming what you're looking at. But either way, it's starting to affect your objectivity. So to me, I just want to look at a chart, and see it objectively, whatever. And then if somebody says something and, some analyst comes and puts a downgrade on Tesla or, upgrade to, it starts playing with you. So I try and, for the most part, put as much out of my mind and just look at what the market's telling me. That's the only thing that matters. So Michelle's awesome. I think the best lesson I can learn from you is be patient and calm without emotion. Yeah. So, and that also goes for the losers. So, I think earlier in the week, I told our members to buy the Euro New Zealand dollar with like 150 pip stop. That equates to a 0.5% risk. And today it got trashed. It banged out, it got stopped out. And so I lost a 0.5%. Neither here nor there. I'm making, 4 or 5% on Lyft right now. So to me, it's a process. And I think we're always looking for validation. So, if you have losers, doesn't mean that, your methodology is not working. It's like I can win 30% of my trades and still be a huge winner, as long as the quality of those winning trades are much bigger and better than the quality of the losing trades. Cyprian says, what do you think about buying calls on Neo? I don't think anything about it. I would not do it. I think that's, the next leg is probably going to be lower. I mean, you could have a short squeeze out of here, but nothing that I would really bet on. This thing looks like this story is running out of steam. Yeah, I would not do that. Is Fiverr buy F? I don't know. Doesn't really looks like this thing is. Yeah, I would kind of leave Fiverr alone for now. I mean, you could make the case that maybe it's bottomed in here, but it looks like it's running out of steam. So neither here nor there right now for me in Fiverr. Bitcoin. I mean, I don't know how to look at that chart. Let me just pull it up here. I shouldn't say I don't know how to look at it, but it's actually been making a very the whole consolidation has had higher lows and higher highs. It's kind of been this ascending triangle breakout. So I don't know. It looks like, it still could have more legs on it. So for right now, the path of least resistance in Bitcoin is higher. So yeah, Tesla is coming back to 761. So it's just about unchanged. So, close it around 760, open around 780, crashed from the close, from the opening, and went down to 740. And if it had closed down there, that would have been a whole different story. So if you have a huge reversal where Tesla, goes from 780, closes at 740, yeah, then you want to be very careful about that. That would have been a reversal, and that would have been very complicated. But all that was an intraday, kind of hiccup. And to me, when I see these things, like, Lyft had a little washout this morning where it went over 64 and then it went all the way backwards to like 63 and a half, and I just bought more. So it sounds arbitrary, but what I do is I look for things that I can feel what the underlying guiding patterns are. And then if you have some kind of arbitrary, that's why I say you really can't trade these 10-minute charts, because the market can go anywhere in the next 10 minutes. Tesla went down in an hour, $40. And to me, that was just an opportunity. I just bought into that. And Dylan says, can you quickly explain the differences in your services? So our elite program, Dylan, and thank you for asking. The elite program is basically everything we offer, including my daily emails. So every day I give you, so yesterday I told you to buy Lyft based on the setup. I also told you to put a buy stop in gold, which was not triggered. So I love those days where, you're looking at something and you're not put in it. So, you don't pay the price for being wrong. And so the elite is basically everything. The elite is my gold funnel. It's my daily emails. I also offer something called the Master Pattern Trader, where I do sessions like this, but instead of just me verbally kind of saying things, you actually see me going on the charts and examining, dozens and dozens of charts. And I do that every Friday. Oh, excuse me. And so the elite is basically everything, incorporates everything that I do. The accelerator is an email that goes out every Sunday that gives my trades, that I'm seeing for the week on Sunday. I also include a weekly video report in my accelerator, Dylan, where I go into at the end of the week, I examine kind of all the markets, how they closed, what I'm looking for into the next week. So it kind of gives you, kind of an idea of what to look for. So if you're, don't know me and want to kind of put your toe in the water, I'd start off with the accelerator. If you like what you see, then you can always, inquire about the elite program. But thank you for asking. Really appreciate it. Yeah, so Tesla's now up on the day after being down about, $20 about an hour ago. So I'm making some nice change there. And, sometimes, trading on intraday price action, I don't really recommend it because it's so arbitrary, it's so capricious. It can really do anything. What I try and do, where I think I'm most effective, like something on Lyft yesterday, where Lyft, you know, I just saw this giant weekly double bottom. So to me, Lyft is always a buying opportunity. So it's just a question of when the market gives me a signal as to when to re-enter the trade. And yesterday was one of those things where you had a giant washout. I don't know what the range was, but it was a large range. It went much lower earlier in the day. And then by the end of the day, it closed actually, above the previous day's close. And so it was what I call a giant key reversal, where it goes down and then close higher and then by closing higher, it actually points in the direction it wants to go. But that's consistent with the trend, the pattern, and everything that preceded it. I don't just look at that one bar in a vacuum. And so to me, it was just a no-brainer, is that, today in the opening session, buy Lyft. That's what I, advise those on our elite program to do. And now it's up over $2 and it's trading at 64.5. And I think a week from now, you'll see it at 74.5, or 2 weeks from now, or 3 weeks from now. I think it announces earnings around May 12th. And I'm going to buy into the earnings because I know that, it's just going to be a catalyst to send the stock where it looks like it's going to go. I'm trading the euro. I'm up $60 on a long. What's your thoughts on my buys? So we talked about the euro versus the US dollar. It looks like it's going to go higher. It looks like it's made a little inverted head and shoulders here. And I think it will go higher. I think it's, maybe in fits and starts. But if you've got a long-term outlook, then you need to be short the dollar. Be short, just be long Australian dollar versus US dollar, and the euro versus US dollar. And if you've got a 6-month or a year time horizon, you'll make money. Eric, I'll take a look at OPEN. Yeah, I wouldn't. I'd leave that one alone too. It's come off, but that doesn't mean it's a bottom. So I wouldn't do any. I don't see anything to do there. Rich, you're welcome. All right, guys. Anything else you're interested in or want to chat about? Like I said, I'm looking at the stock KTOS. I'll put it in. I want to see how this closes today. It's kind of got a double bottom pattern. KTOS, WRK, LYFT, and then real speculative Tesla. So that's what I'm looking at on the long side. On the short side, I like QuantumScape short. So short QS. Zoom. Let's see what Peloton looks like right now. Yeah, probably Peloton too, but Ollie wants to know about pound New Zealand. So pound New Zealand, it's kind of betwixt and between. It looks really bad now, but then you got to say to yourself, do you see prices cutting through all of that from 192 to 185? And maybe it can, but it's going to take a while. So it's just a mess right here. I got into 193 and it's under 193 now. And what looked like a promising trade is now just a mess. So, yeah, it looks heavy here, meaning that the price looks like it's going to be under pressure. But then I got to say to myself, can I see it coming through all of this work that is done from 185 to 190? I'm looking at the monthlies and I can't see it. I would actually, I don't know what to think of it at this point. And just leave it alone. GRUB. And that looks pretty interesting. I was looking at Alibaba too. Kind of looks like it's been. Yeah, I like Grub. I like the weekly. The weekly put in this double bottom at 30. You've been going in the sideways pattern. You grabbed another double bottom at 60. And I like this. I like this. It's like pound New Zealand. It came down pretty sharp. It's got this thing. So I would, look for a consolidation or even a pullback. But yeah, I'm going to put this one on my radar. I think it needs a little bit more work on the right side, of the shoulder there. But, any consolidation, if it gets under 70 or something like that, I would be inclined to, to buy it. So I like this one. I was kind of looking at Alibaba yesterday. That also came off. Just kind of, we're just got some. So if we go over that 245 in Alibaba, that could be interesting too. But I like Grub. I could see that thing going higher. Yeah, Cyprian, good call. Yeah, I'm gonna put that on my radar. So anything under 70, I would be inclined to nibble at it. So I like this a lot. I like this a lot. It's definitely in this, trading range. On the upside, you've got these peaks. On the downside, but that weekly double bottom, to me, it's like Lyft. That's what I saw with Lyft. So everything else, I kind of just blot out of my mind. I like this chart. I would just like to see a little bit more work between 68 and 72. The more work it does in here, like WRK, just because WRK is ranging, to me, that's like, it's like Bitcoin that was ranging between 55 and 60. You want something, to do that work so that the next move is going to be, a healthy move. So if GRUB can, do some work in here, I think it'll be a good play to the upside. So thanks for putting that on my radar. So Cyprian says, I bought at 65 and rallied to 72 yeah, so that's a good play. You may want to take some profits, although I don't know, this thing could just keep going. But I like that play a lot. Baba, the entry point, I would, the confirm would have to be over, I guess, today's high. The 245, it's kind of resisted there both times. So if it can, pull over there, that may be, an interesting play. So let me see what Tesla looks like now. I might just buy some more. Yeah, again, it's hard to tell, and that's why I don't like trading intraday. It's pretty arbitrary, but I think, Tesla looks like it really could smoke out of here. Higher. So FNMAG. I don't know, is that a pink sheet or what is that? FNMAJ. Oh, First National Mortgage, Fannie Mae. Boy, you like to really find these. That's interesting. I mean, maybe with the interest rates are having a positive impact. I mean, this thing's all. It could be. I mean, it could be. Crazier things have happened. I don't know if I'd want to wait around for something like that, but it could happen. All right, guys, I think I'm going to end it there. I kind of gave you my hit list, short and long. I would check out how KTOS closes today. Let me just check this out. It's got this double bottom. Then you've had this, kind of descending triangle. And today you broke out of the descending triangle on the top. So you've kind of got a breakout of this descending action. You've had these lower highs, and today was the first time you peaked above that and you've got a higher high. So I would kind of see how this thing closes and, buy some on the, on the close. And I think there's almost no risk here. If you're wrong, you're going to know it pretty quickly. So KTOS, let me see how WRK is looking. It's just a sleepy thing. It's just not doing a whole lot here. So Cyprian says Uber is a breakout. Yeah, I would rather trade Lyft than Uber. Lyft is a pure play. Uber did all these acquisitions with. I know they did one. I just can't remember the name. So, Uber, is a ride sharing. It's Uber Eats. It's a lot of different things. Where Lyft is really a pure play, and the price when I was buying Lyft at $45, I was kind of second guessing myself because at that time Uber was so much in front of it in terms of the price action, in terms of the media, in terms of everything. So I really kind of second guess, like, shouldn't if I like Lyft, shouldn't I be buying Uber? But that's when I went back and to what I tell you guys, you have to look at the integrity of each chart. You can't say, well, I'm going to trade gold because I like the look of silver, or I'm going to trade oil because the Canadian dollar is going up and there's usually a correlation there. You have to look at the risk reward of that chart. And yes, Uber is kind of breaking out of this thing. I mean, yeah, but I would rather be long Lyft if I had to choose. Andre says, what about Litecoin? I suppose with all the other alto. Look, it's breaking out into an all-time new high. What do you say about this? I mean, so it's trading around 300. It still hasn't overcome its historical highs around 370. So sometimes, you say, well, something going to play, should I buy something that has momentum where Bitcoin has taken out its, highs a long time ago. So the Bitcoin high was at 20 grand and now we're 3 times that, where Litecoin hasn't even come back to its old high. So, Litecoin might come along for the ride, might be dragged along, but, probably Ethereum and Bitcoin are probably where to go. Cyprian, you're welcome. All right, guys. Thanks a ton for checking this out. And I will check out GRUB. I'll keep that, on my screen and look for, some kind of price action to get aboard that. So thanks for that. All right, guys. You're welcome, Eric. Thank you very much. We'll